Hello there, Big Benedict here. We're playing Ninja Gaiden 2 Black on the Series X, and this is my Master Ninja difficulty Gaiden walkthrough. Welcome to the walkthrough. This is the first of 17 videos. It is Chapter 1, Sky City, Tokyo, and I am playing on... well, first of all, to unlock Master Ninja difficulty, you have to, well, I presume you have to defeat Mentor difficulty. I went through and unlocked Master Ninja difficulty, and then I played through Master Ninja difficulty, hoping that there would be an Ultimate Ninja difficulty unlock. Unfortunately, there's not. I could have just looked online, maybe, to have saved myself the hassle of that. But sometimes I just like to see things for myself, and I wanted to get a feel of the difficulty on this new version ahead of time, and I am playing on the Series X, and it is on PC as well, but for all intents and purposes it looks good enough on the Series X, and since I just started playing on that, I committed to playing on that forum, and it is on 60 FPS. I could put it up to 120, but then the quality deteriorates a little bit, and I found that 60 is plenty fine. And so the title of this, them calling it Black, in the past, Black is denoted a definitiveness and like a staple of quality, and while this is really good, it looks beautiful, and it's it has the blood back. You have oceans of blood now, as opposed to not having any blood to speak of in Sigma 2. There was a little bit, but not much. But it is based on Sigma 2, and if anything, it's Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 Black. It's not Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Because you're not going to be throwing incendiary shurikens, you're not going to be throwing windmill shurikens, you're not going to be doing tests of valor. You're going to be doing the Sigma 2 experience for the most part, although they've taken some bosses out, notably the Buddha statue in this chapter they've taken out. Also, at the end of the first XYXXXY fight, Chapter 4, they've removed the Statue of Liberty. Welcome removals, in my opinion. But then when other questionable things are left, I have to ask myself, well, why wasn't this other stuff taken out? Like, why are dogs still in the game? Why are bats still in the game? But those are small issues. I did remember that. Remember before the Master Ninja Collection came out, they said that they had lost the assets for Ninja Gaiden 2, and Ninja Gaiden Black, and Ninja Gaiden 1. So while I forgot that they said that, but before I remembered that they said that, I was still hoping for, well, not what this is, because calling it Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, I just assumed that it was going to be an update, or a remastering and a definitive version of, well, the game that came out in... When did that game come out? 2007 or 2008? I didn't expect it to be a remake of the 2009 version, or whenever that game came out. I think it was like 15 years ago for Sigma 2. But it looks absolutely beautiful. It really does. Some of the levels are just breathtaking, even on the non-PC version. But yeah, I was hoping for an Ultimate Ninja difficulty. That is unfortunate. You might ask, well, how much more can they damage you? Because... oh, that chest there, that has red essence, so if you want to come back to that chest, you can. Well, how much more can they damage you off of Master Ninja difficulty? They could damage you a little bit more. It's already pretty ludicrous And when you're playing this, if you haven't played Master Ninja on Sigma 2, it is pretty fucking ludicrous how much damage you receive. It's just amazing how much you get dealt, and the enemies also have more HP as well, which is kind of unfortunate. But I think I was gonna say something else about that. Oh, the only thing I upgraded on this chapter was the Lunar to level 2. And do you know how in this game you can upgrade? Oh, that's one big difference too, is the upgrade system. They don't parcel out your upgrades in this version like they did in Sigma 2, which is probably one of the best changes, and why I would recommend this version highly, is because of the fact that as long as you have the money, you can upgrade. You're not beholden to the game to parcel out your upgrades at given points. I really hated that, but as long as you have the money, you can't upgrade. Now you should remember when you're playing this that the money system is based off of like how much you get is based off of your how high of a combo you have when you kill an enemy. So it maxes out at 50. So the higher you get up to 50, the more money you'll get. For instance, I can just give you a general example. Like if you just kill an enemy with no combo hits and you just do a UT on him, you might get a little under 400 maybe, but you can get up to like 2.5 times more than that if you kill an enemy and your combo is close to 50, for instance. And I also will be time stamping all of the permanent upgrades you get in this game, like the Life of the Gods, Lives of the Thousand Gods, the Spirit of the Devil. Sorry, I think that's what it's called. But I'm not going to be time stamping just basic item pickups like a grains. I'm not going to just time stamp all those. And of course down here I had to get bats. Now you can go back and save it if you like. I would just base that off of how comfortable you feel with the game. There really is nothing wrong with going back and saving it every now and then. This particular costume that I have as well, I just started playing with this one, and since I don't like switching costumes every chapter, every other chapter, I decided to just stick with the one that I started with. Although I do like the blue costume that I think you can unlock by clearing Mentor. But you will notice over here the removal of the Buddha statue. It was a shitty boss, and I'm going to try to refrain myself from too readily saying things like, well, they had 15 years to fix this and that, and they didn't, because I do feel that way, and I think that they had even more than 15 years. They had a long time to fix things and get things, proper, but things were still left in certain states. But let me see down here. This area down here, I don't think I've picked up the item down here yet, but there should be a Life of the Gods over here, and it should be one of the two on this chapter. And did I mention? I think the only upgrade that I do on this chapter is I do upgrade the Lunar to level 2, because then that unlocks the ability to do the 360Y UT, and I think it's because of not having that unlock initially is why you can't do the the jumping XXY Izuna Drop with the Lunar until level 2. But I'm pretty sure that, like with the Dragon Sword, you can do the ground, the Izuna Drop that starts on the ground. You can do that Izuna Drop with the Lunar, which, if you don't know, it's XYXXXY, and once you unlock that to level 2, though, you can do either that, or you can do the jumping XXY Izuna Drop. And when you are doing that move, I would implore you to do you want to do the wind run towards an enemy, because that will lock on to an enemy more consistently than if you just say just jumping with the A button. So always press X plus A towards an enemy to lock on. Now, if you're close enough to jump on an enemy's head, he's not going to do the wind run. He'll do the wind path. So it's kind of like doing the wind path into the wind run. Although all you have to do a more precise wind path as well, you don't just want to press A near an enemy. You want to press X plus A, and then that is essentially the wind path. And that will lock on more as well. And unfortunately, one thing that I really don't like, but it's not anything new, is that when you're doing the Izuna Drop, you can't rotate the camera and look around at your environment and see what's coming after you, because in this game, you always want to know what's around you at any given second, especially with enemies that grab you so often, is the fact that the camera's locked during Izuna Drops, and I really don't like that. But ordinarily this would be the site of the Buddha statue, but fortunately it's gone. But for all of the niceties of thoughts like that, gestures where they removed questionable bosses, they still have things like Giga Death at the end of level 3. That's still an atrocity pretty much, although it's less of an atrocity than the original Giga Death, but it's still pretty bad. And starting out chapter 4 with the bats on the ceiling, still I thought they would remove shit like that, and then there's still dogs in this game, and they're I don't know if it's specific to this difficulty, but they're like those blue dogs. And I was playing some of the trials, and they have better looking dogs in the trials, because they're like wolf dogs. They're dark lycanthrope type of colored enemies. And if you don't know, they overhauled the lycanthropes too to make them look more realistic and less goofy looking, in my opinion. And they did a really good job. But for some reason, this difficulty still has those fluorescent, like, turquoise dogs. And I think if anything, that's perfectly fine. It's just a matter of aesthetics. But still, I thought that it was strange, some of the choices. But beyond that, I thought there would be some better checkpoints as well, because if you remember, in Sigma 2 there was some pretty poor checkpoints at times. They had some good courtesies. I'm not going to say that they didn't, but for instance, the fight with Momiji, when you fight the first Tengu, there's no checkpoint there. After 15 years they couldn't put a checkpoint there, but it would be nice if you could have a checkpoint there. But beyond that, yeah, so it's not Ninja Gaiden 2. It's based off that game, but it's definitely a Sigma 2 experience. Although some of the sometimes occasionally you get the vibe of, when enemies do sever quickly, you do kind of feel the whispering, or hear the whisperings in your mind of Ninja Gaiden 2, but that doesn't always happen. And enemies de-limbing quickly is not the same as them having a lot of health all the time, because they do have a lot of HP. And maybe you get a random delim sometimes, is who knows, because it's kind of the same thing with getting a random beheading. You know, sometimes you fortunately can have one. With these guys too, I would warrant that even with a level 4 Dragon Sword, it would probably take 2 Izuna Drops for these fucking bastards. Which is a little bit overkill. So my upgrade path, I don't know if I'll ever upgrade the Dragon Sword, because upgrades are expensive on this difficulty. And you know, you do get that free upgrade to level 4 with the Dragon Sword later in the game. So I don't think it's a good thing to upgrade the Dragon Sword, because there's plenty of better weapons. So my upgrade path, if I were you, I would upgrade the Lunar to level 3 as fast as you can, and then probably the Falcon's Talons to level 2, and then go down that path. Now, when I do go to the shop over here, you'll see that it says, because I do keep the shopping in for people that are curious, it will say something like 50% discount. You'll want to have a record of that from previous playthroughs, and how you get a discount for that is you want to go through the game, and in unlocking this difficulty, don't forget to get all the crystal skulls. There's 30 of them, and then that will make your pocketbook hurt less while you're doing this. Because it's still going to cost 40,000 to upgrade to level 2. I'm sorry, I think that's level 3 that I was intending to talk about right there. So I would go back and save it at this point if I were you. Now I'm going to upgrade to level 2 over here for 20,000. I do like all the menus and the fonts and everything like that. They've definitely prettied up the game. And we'll probably just pick up something else over here. Now, I don't go back and save it, but I would recommend that you do if you don't feel comfortable about it. This fight that's coming up over here should be skippable. Not these two ninjas over here, but the fight after this should be skippable. So when you approach the gate over here, these guys will rush you. I mean the platform, sorry. And then this chest down here, I have no idea what this had. If it's bat or fish, looks like it's some bats. And now, if it does have fish, you can charge off those fish sometimes. Sometimes they go in a really erratic patterns that you can't charge off them. But if they're ever just all lined up on top of each other, you can charge off them, and get double or maybe triple the amount of money. So over here, I jump a few times past that corpse over there, and then I charge my Lunar 360Y UT. And when he's up in the air, doing his attacks with the weapon, you can press Y, or just tap Y, might be more effective, and then he can do the Izuna Drop. But the last hit of his 360Y UT it was an instant kill on Ninja Gaiden 2. I don't know to what extent that translates to this game, but you're generally better off not going into the Izuna Drop off of the 360Y UT, but you can, and I do, because it's fun and you can kind of interact with it, because it's essentially a cutscene. But now over here, I don't remember if they give you a checkpoint here on this next fight, but the fight we just did, I'm pretty sure you can skip that one. And on other versions, they refilled your health over here, but I don't know if they do that. Let me see if they do or not. They do. So I just I go for the pot here, charge off that. I think there's just two of these guys, but getting those essence out of that pot is helpful. And then we can just quickly go over here and save it. So this game, sometimes in the past I've said that Sigma 2 is harder than Ninja Gaiden 2, and it can, I definitely can say that, because it can be harder, because of the damage output is so absurd. But by and large, it's not as dense with enemies as Ninja Gaiden 2, so it's not harder. It's still hard, and it can be ludicrously hard if you're not too familiar with the game. Now, I do also feel that they should have taken out the female chapters in this game, but how can you really say that if it's going to be based on Sigma 2? It's fine. I would prefer if they weren't in there, but they are in there, and they're some of the hardest chapters for sure. Because I don't think any of the females handle well. They're erratic and they're just jerky, and they in a game where you can't stand still, unless you want to meet your peril imminently. The females, they have even more erratic movement. It's pretty bad. I think the worst one. Well, Rachel's the worst for her. UT's missing. Momiji is hard because, like I said, she's pretty erratic too. Or did I say? I meant Ayani, but Momiji too. She can be pretty decent, but Ayani I have a problem with. Yeah, her stage is difficult. Plus, there's some really difficult fights in that chapter as well. Okay, so you want to go to the save. Make sure when you're interacting with these boxes here, if you ever see just one orb come out, don't think you're getting robbed of anything, because that's actually what you want. You want just one orb to come out, because that means that you have a full inventory of whatever they were going to give you, plus maxed out health or Nympho, depending on what it is in the box, and you're getting the monetary equivalent of what you would pay at Maramas's. So if you're ever questioning about opening a box in what order, just save it first, so that if you do make a mistake, then you can reset. Although there's no reset from checkpoint on this game, which is baffling. The only good thing I could say though is that it does load like lightning fast off of like when it loads up, it's so fast to get back into the game. I have to give it credit for that, but still, you can't reset from a checkpoint just off of a regular menu. It's kind of baffling. So anyway, over here, so the Resetsu over here, if you want to, you can just use UTs off of this guy if you want to. Standard ones or the 360Y UT. The latter is going to give you a tremendous amount of damage for this guy, but he does regen his health. Just put up with it. It doesn't really matter, because you deal so much damage that it's not going to last too long for him anyway. Now, we fight this guy so often too that I'll have other showcases of different things besides just spamming UTs, but that is actually it. And I think you have to finish him off with an OT. If you try to just hit him like XXY over and over and over again to get some health back, it doesn't seem to let you do that. But that is it for chapter 1. I'll see you in the second chapter, and until we see each other again, please take care.